It is the first major vote in the 2024 presidential election, as tonight the Iowa caucus takes place across the Hawkeye State. And it's our top story now at 5. Meanwhile, before people go to vote in the caucus, there are a few numbers about how each candidate is doing so far in Iowa. According to polls from website 538 from ABC News, former President Donald Trump still has a commanding lead by about 52.7% in the state. That's before going to caucus. Meanwhile, it's a close battle between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, with the candidates getting 18.7% and 15.8%, while Vivek Ramaswamy sits at fourth with a 6.4% vote of support there. Again, that's just a poll. The cold weather is not stopping caucus voting, and it did not stop Ron DeSantis from stopping in Siouxland earlier this afternoon. The Florida governor was at Pub 52 in Sergeant Bluff today. He was introduced by Woodbury County Republican Party Chair Bob Henderson. The Republican candidate drew in a crowd of supporters and some undecided locals who came out to hear what he says he brings to the table.
I wanted to come and see what the governor had to say, because I'm still kind of undecided. So I wanted to hear his speech, what he had to say.
DeSantis later stopped in Council Bluffs and Cedar Rapids to round out his Iowa caucus campaign trip. And places here in Sioux City already set up for caucus night, including West Middle School, and that is where we find KCAU-9 News reporter Jason Toktajian, who's hanging out at the Democratic caucus site. Jason, we've been told this was not an original setting for the caucus.
That's right, Sophie. I'm outside the West Middle School right now, and originally the Woodbury County Democratic Party had this caucus location supposed to be at the Sergeant Bluff High School, but because the weather is causing a lot of problems, and as you can tell, it's really cold outside, there are a lot of obstacles for Iowans to overcome. But in a release from the Woodbury County Democrats, the caucus location was changed from Sergeant Bluff High School to Sioux City West Middle School because of large snow drifts on the north side building at Sergeant Bluff. The school couldn't have anyone in the building because all the exits were not fully cleared. But it's not just the snow impacting the caucuses. Woodbury County Democratic Chair Dave Dawson says he expects turnout to be affected by this cold.
I would expect fewer people than in past years. It's my understanding this will be the coldest caucus night in 50 years. So I imagine that will affect some people's ability to make it to caucus. I'm also expecting that, some people that live in the rural part of Woodbury County may not be able to make it even to Mobile.
Although we expect results from the Republican caucuses tonight, the results of the Democratic caucuses won't be announced until Super Tuesday on March 5th. It's important to also remember the last Democratic caucus in 2020. That's when the state party was unable to report results on caucus night because the mobile app used to gather results failed to work for many precinct chairs. Thus, results weren't available until weeks later. But for now, reporting live in Sioux City, Jason Toktajian, KCAU-9 News, and I'm going to make sure I get inside real quick.
All right, please do. Thank you, Jason. The Iowa caucus is, of course, a state tradition that gets the ball rolling for the presidential election season, but some worry the status will no longer remain after the Iowa caucus mishap Jason just mentioned from 2020. U.S. Senator Joni Ernst says Iowa Democrats did not work hard enough to keep the first in the nation status.
Because I think the Democrats threw us under the bus. They did not fight hard enough to keep the first in the nation status, and that bothers me, because then I do think the nation will be targeting then our first in the nation Republican caucus. So thanks a lot, Democrats. I believe in Iowa voters. I wish the Democrats believed in their Iowa voters, but we didn't see that in the last election cycle. So anyway, Republicans, they're going to turn out. They're going to turn out.
Politicians, reporters, and media outlets who are able to cash in on candidate campaign funds continue tonight talking about the importance of the caucus plan. But do most Iowans see it that way? We ask a longtime caucus expert.
On average, only about 20% of eligible voters actually participate in a caucus. The exception was in 2008 on the Democratic side, where about 40% participated in that Clinton-Obama race. So, yeah, we talk a lot about the caucuses, but if we get out of our own little bubble, Is Iowa as a state, as a whole, just all ablaze about the caucuses? Not really, I don't think. But those who are politically...
Goldford adds that most importantly, the Iowa caucuses give candidates a chance to try out their messages and hope to be propelled onto the rest of the primary states. To be continued. Meanwhile, there are several precincts across the city people can visit to participate. Republican voters can take part in the caucus at areas including West High, Western Iowa Tech Community College, and Morningside Assembly of God Church. Democratic caucuses in Woodbury County include locations such as West Middle, North Middle, and Woodbury Central High School. If you'd like a full check of where you can take part and how to participate in the caucus, that information is on our website right now at SiouxlandProud.com.